Okay, hi everyone. My name is Alma Imamovic, and I am a protagonist of Inflow of Words, which is a short film by Eliane Esther Bots. The film is being shown at the Eastern Neighbours Film Festival 2021 edition, and I'm very glad to be part of it and to be also a guest of the festival. I worked as an interpreter for about 8 years, and that work actually had quite an impact on me. I wasn't even aware of that until I met the filmmaker Eliane Esther Bots by chance at one of the editions of Eastern Neighbours. I think it was in 2017 that we met, and I was behind camera just capturing some images from that evening, and she started talking to me, and then she learned that I used to work as an interpreter before, and she got really interested, and after that we met several times. We had very long conversations, and she was impressed by the intensity of the stories that I told her, and she was very surprised that actually nobody made a film about it already. So she took it upon herself to do this film. And then, yeah, the process took some time. I think it took in total about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. And it also involved 2 other interpreters, my former colleagues, Nenad and Besmir. And yes, the film has been very successful. It went around the world and won many, many awards. The first award was in Locarno for the best director, and then it went on to win best film in Clermont-Ferrand Festival, which is an amazing award, and many others. It is a very intimate film because we had to delve deep into the past and remember the stories that actually had the most impact on us. Speaking for myself, I'd never actually shared these stories with anyone because they're so awful, they're so violent, and really not something that you share with people when you go out. And but somehow when I started talking about them, it went, it just came out of me, and it was sort of a very therapeutic to talk about it with Eliane. And she was genuinely interested. Okay. As an interpreter, I was supposed to be neutral, and I was sent to interpret at different places. I interpreted for victims of crimes in former Yugoslavia, but I also interpreted for the perpetrators when they met with their defense counsel. So that was quite conflicting for me, because one day I would speak to a victim, and then the next I would go to the detention unit and speak with the guy who was responsible for the suffering of those people. So that was quite challenging, and yeah, I didn't like that. Of course, as an interpreter, you remain professional and you don't show your feelings and you don't share your feelings, because that's not what you do. You just do your job professionally, and then you're left with all these feelings when you go back home, and then you start thinking about it. Then that's that residue that stays with you, is really quite difficult to get rid of. We didn't have much of support, or professional support or psychological help, so it was quite hard to deal with it, and that was the most challenging part, I would say. So yeah, what was difficult about this job is not only that these very heavy stories that you had to interpret, and these horrible crimes that you heard that happened to the person that you were sitting next to. But it was also very, very long hours of interpretation, which took a physical toll on you, because the job had to be done and you were there as long as it took to get either the witness statement or to prepare a witness for his testimony or what have you. So yes, it was both physically and mentally a very challenging job, but I managed to complete it without having to go through some really serious consequences. It was very strange when I had to go to a detention unit to interpret for an accused, because since we spoke the same language, the accused would expect me to get involved in small talk and share, like, you know, cookies or something, because they had they expected it to be like a social meeting, although it was strictly professional between him and his defense lawyer, but actually they always relate more to the interpreter because of the language that we share. So I tried to keep my distance, but it was quite hard because yes, they wouldn't see me as an interpreter. They would just see me from somebody from their country as a, you know, like a, yeah, somebody like that. So that was weird. I didn't see or I didn't hear anyone being remorseful or saying anything like that, that they were sorry for what they did. I never heard that from anybody. But as I said, you know, I didn't really work in the courtroom. So. For me, it is very hard to see that there's still a lot of denial. I'm talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina, about the crimes that took place there during the war. And despite all the evidence and all the witness testimonies and a huge legacy that the tribunal has actually left behind for everyone who is interested in the war, which was actually, this evidence was presented through witnesses. So it didn't fall from the sky, or it's not news report, it's not, you know, there's nothing really disputable about it because it came from people who went through it. So despite all of this evidence, people still glorify war criminals, and that's quite hard because to accept. And my problem that I have when I go to Bosnia is that I associate places in Bosnia with crimes. And that's something that I don't think would ever happen if I hadn't worked for the tribunal, because having worked for the tribunal, I had actually learned about the scope of the crimes that took place in Bosnia. I was in Sarajevo during the war, so I knew what happened, you know, there without a doubt. But I didn't really go to other places, and I wasn't aware how meticulously planned and executed this war was. And so that's something I cannot shake off. When I travel through certain places, I always remember, this is where this massacre took place, and this is where this mass execution took place. Oh, that's the place of the mass grave, etc., etc. So that's something that actually is a consequence of my work for the tribunal. I am very proud of the work that I've done, and it was very, very hard in many ways, but actually we, you know, all of us work towards something that's more important than us, and that's actually the truth. And I believe that, you know, the truth is out there, and people who want to know, they can read about it. It's not hidden, it's not, you know, reserved only for certain, you know, audience. It's there for everyone. So I would like, you know, if anybody is interested, just go to the, you know, archives of the tribunal, read witness testimonies and read all the evidence, and then you will see what happened, you know. And then it's, yeah, that's what I would like tell people.